Renegade Hero, or as I sign my Facebook post. I first need to say this. If you would like to help us, please do so. Our PayPal is in the description below, as well as any important info one might need. We do just more than place out a video here and there. We are active in our communities. We work behind the scenes. I'm sure you have seen our work and not even known it. We do need your support. Without it, we can't help others in need. This video is about an epidemic here plaguing the U.S. that is being overlooked not only by the mainstream media, but also the average everyday individual. If you think COVID is bad, then you really need to sit back and pay attention. This epidemic is currently affecting roughly 10 million people each year just in the U.S. alone. This statistics worldwide, well, no one really knows the true number. Many people each year lose their loved ones and friends to it. I'm not talking about Ebola or something new. This has been around a long time, but it's just being ignored. I'm talking about substance abuse and mental health. There's a link between substance abuse and mental health. When you have both a substance abuse problem and a mental health issue, such as depression, bipolar disorder, or anxiety, it's called a co-occurring disorder or dual diagnosis. Dealing with substance abuse, alcoholism, or drug addiction is never easy, and it is even more difficult when you're also struggling with mental health problems. In co-occurring disorders, both the mental health issue and the drug or alcohol addiction may have their own unique symptoms that may get in the way of your ability to function at work, school, maintain a stable home life, handle life's difficulties, and relate to others. To make the situation more complicated, the co-occurring disorder also affects each other. When a mental health problem goes untreated, the substance abuse problem usually gets worse. And when alcohol or drug increases, mental health problems usually increase too. Co-occurring substance abuse problems and mental health issues are more common than many people realize. According to a report published in the Journal of the American Medical Association, roughly 50% of individuals with severe mental disorders are affected by substance abuse. 37% of alcohol abusers and 53% of drug abusers also have at least one serious mental illness. Of all people diagnosed as mentally ill, 29% abuse alcohol or drugs. While substance abuse problems and mental health issues don't just get better when they're ignored. In fact, they're likely to get much worse. It's important to know that you don't have to feel this way. There are things that you can do to conquer your demons, repair your relationships, and get on the road to recovery. With the right support, self-help, and treatment, you can overcome co-occurring disorders, reclaim your sense of self, and get your life back on track. What comes first, substance abuse or the mental health problems? Substance abuse and mental health disorders such as depression, anxiety are closely linked, although one doesn't necessarily directly cause the other. Abusing substances such as marijuana or methamphetamines can prolong the psychotic reactions, while alcohol can make depression and anxiety symptoms worse. Also, alcohol and drugs are often used to self-medicate the symptoms of mental health problems. People often abuse alcohol or drugs to ease the symptoms of an underdiagnosed mental disorder, to cope with difficulties, emotions, or to temporarily change their mood. Unfortunately, self-medicating with drugs or alcohol causes side effects and in the long term run often worsen the symptoms they are initially helped to relieve. Alcohol and drug abuse can increase the underlying risk for mental disorders. Since mental health problems are caused by complex interplay of genetics, the environment, and other factors, it is difficult to say if abusing substance ever directly causes them. However, if you are at risk for a mental health issue, abusing alcohol or drugs may push you over the edge. For example, there's some evidence that those who abuse opioid painkillers are at greater risk for depression, and heavy cannabis use has been linked to increased risk of schizophrenia. Alcohol and drug abuse can also cause symptoms of mental health issues, make them worse. Substance abuse may simply increase symptoms of mental illness or even trigger new symptoms. Abuse of alcohol or drugs can also interact with medications such as antidepressants, anxiety medications, and mood stabilizers, making them less effective managing symptoms and delaying your recovery. Recognizing a dual diagnosis. It can be difficult to identify a dual diagnosis. It takes time to tease out what might be a mental disorder and what might be just a drug or alcohol problem. The signs and symptoms also vary depending upon both the mental health problem and the type of substance being used, whether it is alcohol, recreational drugs, or prescription medications. For example, the signs of depression and marijuana abuse can look very difficult and different from the signs of schizophrenia and alcohol abuse. However, there are some general warning signs that you may have co-occurring disorder. Do you use alcohol or drugs to cope with unpleasant memories or feelings, to control the pain or intensity of your moods, to face situations that frighten you, or to stay focused on tasks? Have you noticed a relationship between your substance abuse and your mental health? For example, do you get depressed when you drink, or drink when you're feeling anxious or plagued by unpleasant memories? Has someone in your family grappled with either a mental disorder or alcohol or drug abuse? Do you feel depressed, anxious, or otherwise out of balance even when you're sober? Have you previously been treated for either your addiction or your mental health problem? Did the substance abuse treatment fail because of complications from your mental health issue or vice versa? Dual diagnosis denial. Denial is common in both substance abuse and mental health issues. It is often hard to admit how dependent you are on alcohol or drugs or how much they affect your life. Similarly, the symptoms of conditions such as depression, anxiety, bipolar disorder, or PTSD can be frightening, so you may try to ignore them and hope they go away. Or you may be ashamed or afraid of being viewed as weak if you admit you have a problem. But substance abuse and mental health issues can happen to any of us, and admitting you have a problem and seeking help is the first step on the road to recovery. The signs and symptoms of substance abuse. Abuse substance includes prescription medications such as opioid, painkillers, ADHD medication, and sedatives, recreational or street drugs such as marijuana, methamphetamines, and cocaine, and alcohol, beer, wine, and liquor. A substance abuse problem is not defined by what drug or the type of alcohol you drink, though rather it comes down to the effects your drug and alcohol has on your life and relationship. In short, if you're drinking or drug use is causing problems in your life, you have a substance abuse or drinking problem. To help you spot the signs of a substance abuse problem, answering the following questions may help. The more yes answers you provide, the more likely your drinking or drug use has become a problem. Have you ever felt you should cut down on your drinking or drug use? Do you need to use more and more drugs or alcohol to attain the same effects on your mood or outlook? Have you tried to cut back but couldn't? Do you lie about how much you often drink or use drugs? Are you going through prescription medications at a faster than expected rate? Have your friends or family members expressed concern about your alcohol or drug use? Do you ever feel bad, guilty, or ashamed about your drinking or drug use? Have you done or said things while drunk or high that you later regretted? Has your alcohol or drug use caused problems at work, school, or in your relationship? Has your alcohol or drug use gotten you into trouble with the law? Signs and symptoms of common co-occurring disorders. The mental health problems that most commonly occur with substance abusers are depression, bipolar, and anxiety disorders. Other mental health problems that commonly occur with substance abuse or addiction include schizophrenia, borderline personality disorder, and PTSD. Treatment for a dual diagnosis. The best treatment for a co-occurring disorder is an integrated approach where both the substance abuse problem and the mental disorder are treated together. Whether your mental health or substance abuse problem came first. Long-term recovery depends on getting treatment for both disorders by the same treatment provider or team. Depending on your specific issue, treatment for your mental health problem may include medication, individual or group counseling, self-measures, lifestyle changes, and peer support. Treatment for your substance abuse may include detoxification, managing of withdrawal symptoms, behavioral therapy, and support groups to help maintain your sobriety. Finding the right treatment program. Make sure that the program is appropriately licensed and accredited. The treatment methods are backed by research, and there is an aftercare program to prevent relapse. Additionally, you should make sure that the program has experience with your particular mental health issues. Some programs for example, may experience treating depression or anxiety, but not schizophrenia or bipolar disorder. There are a variety of approaches that treatment programs may take, but there are some basic of effective treatments that you should look for. Treatment addresses both the substance abuse problem and your mental health problem. You share in the decision-making process and are actively involved in setting goals and developing strategies for change. Treatment includes basic education about your disorder-related problems. You are taught healthy coping skills and strategies to maintain substance abuse, strengthen your relationship, and cope with life stressors, challenges, and upset. Dual diagnosis programs. Finding the right program can help you too. Think about the role that alcohol and or drugs plays in your life. This should be done confidentially, without judgment or any negative consequences. People feel free to discuss things that's issue when the discussion is confidential and not tied to legal consequences. Learn more about alcohol and drugs, such as how they interact with mental health illnesses and medications. Become employed and find other services that may help in the process of recovery. Identify and develop your personal recovery goals. If you decide that your use of alcohol or drugs may be a problem, a counselor or trained in dual diagnosis treatment can help you work on your specific recovery goals for both the illnesses. Experience counseling that is designed for people with dual diagnosis. This can be done individually, in a group of peers, with your family, or a combination of these. Treatment problems for veterans with co-occurring disorders. Veterans deal with additional challenges when it comes to co-occurring disorders. The pressures of deployment or combat can exacerbate underlying mental disorders, and substance abuse is a common way of coping with the unpleasant feelings or memories associated with PTSD in military veterans. Often, these problems take a while to show up after a vet returns home and may be initially mistaken for rejudgment. Untreated co-occurring disorders can lead to major problems at home and work and in your daily life, so it is important to seek help. Self-help for dual diagnosis. In addition to getting professional treatment, there are plenty of self-help steps you can take to address your substance abuse and mental health issues. Remember, getting sober is only the beginning. As well as continuing mental health treatment, your sustained recovery depends on learning healthier coping strategies and making better decisions when dealing with life's challenges. Tip 1. Managing stress and emotions. Learn how to manage stress. Drug and alcohol use often stems from misguided attempts to manage stress. Stress is an inevitable part of life, so it is important to have healthy coping skills so that you can deal with stress without turning to alcohol or drugs. Stress management skills go a long ways toward preventing relapse and keeping your symptoms at bay. Cope with unpleasant feelings. Many people turn to alcohol or drugs to cover up painful memories and emotions such as loneliness, depression, or anxiety. You may feel like doing drugs is the only way to handle unpleasant feelings, but know your triggers and have an action plan. When you're coping with a mental disorder as well as a substance abuse problem, it is especially important to know the signs of your illness is flaring up. Common causes include stressful events, big life changes, or unhealthy sleeping or eating patterns. At these times, having a plan in place is essential to preventing a drink or a drug relapse. Who will you talk to? What do you need to do to avoid slipping? Tip 2. You need to connect with others. Make face-to-face connection with friends, family a priority. Positive emotional connection to those around you is the quickest way to calm your nervous system. Try to meet up regularly with people who care about you. If you don't have anyone you feel close to, it's never too late to meet new people and develop new meaningful friendships. Follow doctor's orders. Once you are sober and you feel better, you might think you no longer need medication or treatment, but abruptly stopping medication or treatment is a common reason for relapse in people with co-occurring disorders. Always talk with your doctor before making any changes within your medication or treatment routine. Get therapy or stay involved in support groups. If chances of staying sober improve if you are participating in a social support group like Alcoholics Anonymous or Narcotics Anonymous, or if you are getting a healthy therapy. Tip 3. Make healthy lifestyle changes. Exercise regularly. Exercise is a natural way to bust stress, relieve anxiety, and improve mood and or outlook. To achieve the maximum benefit, aim for at least 30 minutes of aerobic exercise on most days. Practice relaxation techniques. When practiced regularly, techniques can, such as mindful meditation, progressive muscle relaxation, and deep breathing can reduce symptoms of stress, anxiety, and depression, increase feelings of relaxation and emotional well-being. Adopt a healthy eating habit. Start the day right with breakfast, and continue with frequent small meals throughout the day. Going too long without eating leads to low blood sugar, which can make you feel more stressed and anxious. Getting enough healthy fats in your diet can help to boost your mood. Get enough sleep. A lack of sleep can exaggerate stress, anxiety, and depression. So try to get at least 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep at night. Tip 4. Find new meaning in life. To stay alcohol or drug free for long term, you need to build a new meaningful life where substance abuse no longer has a place. Develop new activities and interests. Find new hobbies, volunteer activities, or work that gives you a sense of meaning and purpose. When you're done doing things you find fulfilling, you'll feel better about yourself and substance will hold less appeal. Avoid the things that trigger your urge to use. If certain people, places, or activities trigger a craving for drugs or alcohol, try to avoid them. This may mean making major changes to your social life, such as finding new things to do with your old buddies, or even giving up those friends and making new connections. Group support. As with other addictions, groups are very helpful, not only in maintaining sobriety, but also as a safe place to get support and discuss challenges. Sometimes treatment programs for co-occurring disorders provide groups that continue to meet on aftercare basis. Your doctor or treatment provider may also be able to refer you to a group for people with co-occurring disorders. While it is often best to join a group that addresses both substance abuse and your mental health disorder, 12-step groups for substance abuse can also be helpful. Plus, they're more common, so you're likely to find one in your area. There's free programs facilitated by peers. Use group support and set of guided principles. The 12 steps to obtain and maintain sobriety. Just make sure your group is accepting of the idea of co-occurring disorders and psychotic medication. Some people in these groups, although well-meaning, may mistake taking psychotic medication as another form of addiction. You will want a place to feel safe and not pressured. Helping a loved one with a dual diagnosis. Helping someone with both substance abuse and mental health trauma can be a roller coaster. Resistance to treatment is common, and the road to recovery can be long. The best way to help someone is to accept what you can and cannot do. You cannot force someone to remain sober, nor can you make someone take their medications or keep their doctor's appointments. What you can do is make positive choices for yourself, encouraging your loved one to get help and offer your support while making sure you don't lose yourself in the progress. Seek support. Dealing with a loved one, mental issue, and substance abuse can be painful and isolating. Make sure you're getting the emotional support you need to cope. Talk to someone you trust about what you're going through. It can be also help to get your own therapy or join a support group. You need to set boundaries. Be realistic about the amount of care you're able to provide without feeling overwhelmed or resentful. Set limits on disruptive behavior and stick to them. Letting the co-occurring disorder take over your life isn't healthy for you or your loved one. Educate yourself. Learn all that you can about your loved one's mental health problems, as well as substance abuse treatment and recovery. The more you understand what your loved one is going through, the better able you'll be able to support their recovery. Be patient. Recovering from co-occurring disorders doesn't happen overnight. Recovery is an ongoing process and relapse is common. Ongoing support for both you and your loved ones is crucial and critical as you work towards recovery. But you can get through this difficult time together and gain control of your lives. On that note, Renegade out.